How's it going, everybody? And we are back with another beatbox reaction video. And today we are back with the Grand Beatbox Battle videos. Today will be the Loopstation stuff again, the solo Loopstation to be exact. So we last left off, I believe, with Dice, which was, I believe, 4 videos ago. So we're a little bit far behind here, but I'm planning to catch up to all the remaining competitors today in this video. So that's actually going to mean that this video is probably going to be a little bit longer, on the longer side. But I think that's fine. I think it makes for a more fun video, a more diverse video when it comes to music and the content. So anyway, we have Frosty followed by Gasper Grom, BreZ, and BizKit. So obviously there's some very notable names in here. Obviously the winner of the entire competition for the solo Loopstation category in BizKit. Very excited to see what he does in his elimination. I was very impressed with his wildcard. And also we have the online champion of 2020 in Frosty here as well, which also came in second place. BizKit versus Frosty was the final for the solo division here. And I believe that Frosty also took out with mine, which is the 2019 live in-person champion for the Grand Beatbox Battle. So a lot of big names here in this group of 4. I'm very excited to see what they do. I believe BizKit is a solo device artist and he won the entire competition. And Frosty uses 2 devices plus a shortcut module device. I don't know what to call that, but very interesting to see the kind of music that they create with multiple devices compared to just using that single device. So anyway, guys, without further ado, this one's going to be a long one, so let's just get right into it. Silent recording. So crazy. feedback. It's unfortunate.
Drop that beat, everybody drunk as I find it late.
And that. Sorry. Yo, that's time.
Can you turn off the monitors, please? Thank you.
to avoid feedback. This one before?
You ready? All right. Yeah, I be killing BreZ. I'm a criminal. Just an ego trip and nothing subliminal. They can call me cocky, but no, I'm original. If they really wanna get it, they can come and get it. I'll be service loops, ayy. I'm on my loops, ayy. If you're watching Swiss beatboxers, hit that replay. I'll be service loops, ayy. I'm on my jewels, ayy. I'm just tripping on this beat. Give no fuck about a feed, okay? Now rip mine. So, Jimmy, out. Got a bird, Robin, Slizzer, out. Some beats, balance, and mage, out. Said I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here without a doubt. I'm singing I rip mine. So, Jimmy, out. Got a bird, Robin, Slizzer, out. Got a bird, Robin, again, out. But I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here without a doubt. What? Alright, Reaps one, I saw you did a mosh pit, bro. But this one has to be bigger. Everybody spread out. I wanna see the biggest mosh pit ever seen at a motherfucking GBB. Are you ready? When the drop comes, I wanna see everybody go crazy. When the drop comes, I wanna see everybody go mad. You ready? Are you ready?
That
BreZ straight up battling people in the elimination. It's crazy. Oh man.
Is anybody going to remember? Or am I just another person? Will I be lost in time in the amber? Never to be resurfaced. When I become fossilized and rotten, only one thing can conserve me, 'cause I refuse to be forgotten.
Okay guys, so that was the 4 competitors from the solo Loopstation division at the Grand Beatbox Battle 2021. And yeah, there's a lot to digest there. Obviously that was 20 minutes worth of Loopstation content there. So I'm definitely not going to try to sit here and analyze and digest everything down, because that would just be that'll be a very long time, and this video has already been going on for a long time. So I'm just going to try to point out some key moments and aspects that I want to talk about that I really that I've really enjoyed about these 4 artists here. So actually the first thing I want to talk about honestly is the different, like the contrast and difference of people using like multiple devices compared to solo devices. Obviously multiple devices are allowed and they're pretty much a mainstay in the Loopstation game at this point in time, so we all have to accept that. But what I want to talk about is like when you're watching people create their music on the multiple devices compared to the solo devices, there's a huge difference in terms of what it looks like and how it's created and what it sounds like when you're in the perspective of the viewer and the consumer. Because when you look at someone like Frosty, when he was creating his track there on the stage, it really looked so effortless and looked like it took so much less time to construct the beat. And I think like that's honestly a good thing to a certain extent when you're performing, because you have more time, and having those shortcuts to create those effects, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of effort, and actually in the process of actually creating the music that you want to, and it gives you more time and freedom to do other things within that track, for sure. But it takes away a little bit in the performance aspect of it, because it's always nice as a viewer and a consumer to see people creating the beat live in front of you. Not saying that he wasn't doing that, but having those second devices makes it a lot easier for him, even though like the outcome of what he's creating is still immensely impactful. It's just that you kind of miss out on watching them create that process and getting to that point where it kind of creates the tension, and once the drop eventually comes, it could be a lot more impactful, I think. And that's what we got when we saw BreZ's round, because BreZ's and BizKit's, to be completely honest, because they were both using a solo device, and you actually got to see the creation process, like the camera was going up really close to what they were doing with the device itself. And eventually when we got to those drops, we kind of like went on that journey with them on the device itself, and we got to see the creation of it and what it eventually led to. So that's the like kind of difference I wanted to point out with the multiple device and single device. Both of them are equally as amazing. Like one of them kind of helps you a lot out in the process of creation, and also allows you a little bit more freedom to create even more in that whatever you're trying to create there in your round. And on the other hand, it takes a lot more time when you're actually creating them live without the aid of like a shortcut device or a second device. So I enjoy both of them. This is not me like trying to pander on one or the other. I enjoy both of them equally, and I think both of them have their cons and both of them have their non-cons, if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah, I think the standout here for me, honestly, was BizKit's, and that was the last one we reacted to. I think like what he done in there was an absolutely crazy journey. I think it's really interesting to listen to BizKit, especially like in this particular elimination, because I find like when you're watching like solo beatboxing, not the Loopstation stuff, people have their own different kind of styles, and BizKit has his own like unique kind of style. If you were to like compare him to like a solo beatboxer, I think like he'd be a very technical beatboxer in terms of the Loopstation. So he's like a very technical Loopstation artist, if that makes sense. So a lot of like little intricate things that he's doing in there, like I don't know the ins and outs of how a Loopstation works, but when I'm listening to the music, I feel like there's a lot more like complexity inside what he does with the Loopstation. And it really showed, I think, in my opinion, in this elimination that he did. There's a lot of things that he was creating in the process of that track that kind of like came around at a lot of different kind of points within that track, and each of them had their own kind of like a style, and like it hit a little bit harder, and like the stuff that he added onto those technical sounds turned it into something completely different. Like in those several different drops that he had at the end was absolutely mind-blowing, I think. And yeah, just like listening to that process of him creating that and leading up to the drops that eventually came was a lot more impactful, and I think it worked out really well to the crowd, and the judges really enjoyed it as well. So I think that round was probably the best one I've seen so far out of all of them, even like more so than Dice's round, which is probably still my second favorite right now, even though there's only like 6 of them that went so far. But I put BizKit then Dice so far for the top 2, and I really enjoyed BreZ's as well. for a lot of the same reasons that I enjoyed BizKits as well. The thing about BreZ is that he's a master of performing, so he's able to pretty much make his Loopstation like the way that he creates his music into like an art, like a performance itself. Like the way that he carries himself when he's creating the music and the energy that he gives off in his music itself and him as a person, like the mannerisms and how he performs on the stage really works well to the crowd. And I love the concept of him like not treating the Elimination like a showcase. He actually like, I think it was a track that he used before, but he made it into like a remix for this Elimination, but he made it into, rather than a showcase, he made it into like kind of like a 5-minute battle round to all the other people who are in the competition for the eliminations for this division. I thought it was very smart. Like using your lyrics like in that way, I think is a very smart idea, and it worked very well in his favor. Yeah, so I really enjoyed BreZ as well. It's definitely, I kind of, like, out of all the ones there, I kind of knew what to expect from BreZ because he has that similar style a lot of the time, especially at the Grand Beatbox Battle. Like, he has such a distinct style that works so well every time because like people like him are meant to be performing at large events like this, and that's where they really shine. So it's really awesome to see that. Then we had the Gasper Grom. I think there's a lot of feedback issues for him, unfortunately, and I think like it impacted a lot of his sounds that he was doing, especially the basses. Like that first half, I don't think the bass was what he wanted it to be, and I think that kind of like set him off a little bit. It kind of like made him more nervous than he should have been, because I think he kind of knew that what he was doing wasn't the way that he wanted it to be, and it was super unfortunate seeing him having to go through that for the entire 5 minutes. But the later half, he really made up for it, because he had one of the best drops in those entire 4 competitors that I've seen in his last drop there. Absolutely came out of nowhere. I didn't expect that, and it's unfortunate that Scott Jackson had to cut it off before we got to see all of it to its full extent. But what we did get in that last like minute and a half was absolutely amazing. It's just that the first large portion of his elimination had a lot of issues there from the feedback, and ultimately the creation of his track had a lot of issues there as well, probably because of nerves, the feedback, and just the environment that he was in. It didn't really turn out the way that he wanted it to. I can definitely tell that. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sometimes that happens. But yeah. And Frosty again, absolutely amazing track. Definitely see why he got through. A lot of the similar stuff that I've seen from him online, like those second devices and that shortcut device, is absolutely crazy powerful, and he can create some crazy monstrous tracks out of that. That is so amazing to listen to. Like, just listen to what he did against Robin in the kickback battle. Is kind of continuing from that trend into the live stage here in his elimination. So I'm really expecting to see some crazy rounds from him, especially the fact that he beat Rhythmond in the battle. So I'm looking forward to that battle a lot, to be quite honest. So anyway, guys, there's a lot to digest there. I'm not going to get into everything. This video is already very long. So who's your favorite, guys? Like, out of these 4 people, who do you think did the best? Just let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. So until the next Grand Beatbox Battle solo division for the Loopstation content, I will see you next time.